Okay, so I was just sitting here working, and all of a sudden I heard a loud creak and snap on my IKEA LINNMON desk, and just wanted to show you real quick why you kind of get what you pay for when it comes to furniture. Okay, so nothing actually directly broke, but I just wanted to show you guys exactly what's going on here with this desk. If you look closely, you can actually see it now. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see how the edge of the desk here, is sinking into the actual desk. And that's because, I should have used common sense and figured out that, hey, a hollow desk isn't really going to hold up to that, and it needs reinforced. So I'm going to run the Lowe's today and pick up a few things, and I'll show you guys how to temporarily reinforce this. Now, if you're using this video to buy the IKEA LINNMON and do the same thing that I'm going to do with this desk, don't do it. Go ahead and buy a solid hardwood desk and invest the money. This is just a temporary fix on my end. I don't even know if it's going to work and if it's going to hold on up long term, so I'll keep you guys updated. But just keep that in mind. If you're gonna mount a dual monitor arm to an IKEA LINNMON desk, don't do it and invest in some higher quality furniture than that. So this would be a good video for people who already have this desk who's running into the same issue as I am right now. So let's go ahead and run the Lowe's and get the parts we need, and I'll report back and keep you guys updated. Okay, so I just got back from Lowe's and I picked up these things here on the floor. It all cost about around $30. I picked up the Krylon Fusion all-in-one paint and primer, 220 grit sandpaper and 80 grit sandpaper, and this nice straight half-inch thick piece of Poplar. This ran me about, I think, $13. Looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty flat overall. So we're gonna go ahead and get started putting that on there. I kind of went with this Poplar because, number one, I have no idea what I'm doing with woodworking, and number two, it looks fairly close to what I have on my desk, the grain. So let me take a look here. Oh man, it's dusty up here. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna have to clean that off, but you can kind of see the grains similar. Okay, let's go ahead and power these monitors down here and go ahead and take them off. I don't want these monitors on here while I'm messing around with this, so hopefully this doesn't break when I take these monitors off, but we'll see. Okay, I got this little thing off. All right, monitor 1 off. All right, monitor number 2 off. All right, I scooted that over a little bit, and you can just see how close. I mean, that is a deep cut. I mean, it literally just cut into the wood. It's not even just indented. Yep, should have reinforced it. So what I'm gonna do is put that piece of wood down there, and hopefully that helps. I'm gonna reinforce the underside as well. You can barely see it, but this is just my LED strip, so it's not the desk. But I can't even pick it up on camera. But there is some indentations on there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure how much I actually want. Let's go right around here. Okay, so welcome to my back porch, and welcome to this episode of using the wrong tools for the job. Now, I don't have a recirculating saw handy, so I'm just gonna have to use this handy dandy tool. It's a Cobalt, like a multi-purpose tool. So I'm gonna give this a shot, and hopefully this can cut through this thin piece of wood. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna have to probably swing over to my dad's. So actually, shout out to my dad for giving me this tool. So all right, let's go ahead and get started cutting this wood. All right, switch to hacksaw blade. That seems to be doing the trick a lot better and not scoring the wood. Luckily I can salvage this because it's just a cheap desk, so that's what the sandpaper was for anyways. Recirculating saw, you wouldn't need the sandpaper. You just zip it and be done with it, but because I don't have the tools that I need, I went with this route and made it 10 times harder than it's supposed to be. that one's made. That one turned out pretty nice. So, all right, let's go ahead and sand these up and make them look semi-presentable and get these painted. All right, so I got the pieces of wood here. I got a couple pieces of sandpaper, one 80 grit and one 220 grit. We're going to start with the 80 grit, and since I don't have a sanding block, and I thought I did, which is unfortunate, we're just going to be using this handy dandy Harbor Freight light as a sanding block. So go ahead and get started sanding the edges of this and trying to make it look a lot nicer. Alright, so now we're gonna put a couple layers of spray paint on and get this finished up and get it on the desk. Alright, so I just finished spray painting it and letting it dry for a couple hours. And I mean, as you can see, I mean, I am not a professional at all. You can see where I've went, you know, thick with 4 C's of spray paint. I literally don't know what I'm doing, but this just goes to show you that any normal guy can sit down and do this. It's not that hard. I made this 10 times harder than it should be, but I'm actually very impressed the way it turned out. I mean, the wood is very similar. It looks very similar. This doesn't look out of place. You know, I kind of smoothed the edges with sandpaper here to kind of match the desk so it's not as sharp. So, I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. And we're just going to get this installed on the desk and get the monitors put back on, and then I'll show you guys the completely finished result. I mean, this should be wide enough to reinforce it. I already got the one down here installed. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get everything put back together. Okay, so I just plugged everything in and everything works and looks just fine. If you take a look at it from the side, it's no longer the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I mean, it does have some lean to it, but nowhere near as bad as it was before. I mean, that's what it should look like. So thank you guys for following along with me today. I hope you learned some things and learned some things not to do. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm a tech guy. I'm not very skilled with any craftsmanship. So I consider this a pretty passing grade considering what I'm working with no experience or anything. So hopefully you guys liked the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.